All right, today we're going to take a look at the magnetic helping hands. They reached out to me and asked me if I'd be interested in taking a look at this, and it looked pretty cool, so let's look at it. So this is a closer look at what you get in the box. You can see how it's going to look. And you can see in addition to the little hands here to hold stuff, you get a magnifying lens with a light, little vice grip, and this is all magnetically held to this plate, and then there's these little standoff legs here too you can pinch in electronics with. So with that all aside, you can see here quickly just kind of what you get in the box. Here's the vice grip, here's some of the pieces, here's some of the little legs, some plates, the light itself, which it has the standard, you can adjust the temperature and the intensity of the light, and just the cord for the plug for that, some other things. So that's all great, it's all in here. Let's go ahead and let me get this put together, and then we can see what it's actually going to look like all together and how well it's going to work. Okay, so here it is all put together. You do have a whole extra bag of little clips. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clips. You can see on here that there's only 4 of those little holder things. So you get an extra whole clip. So you actually got 2 bags, so then there's an extra clip here as well. You also get extra pads. These pads are for the vise over here. You can see there's a little pad there in the vise to hold whatever you're going to hold. So you get some extras on that. So those are the extra things. This is the plug for the light. I just have it set up so that it's plugged into my USB power strip. So with this, the biggest thing I would say that people will be concerned about, and you can see all the different uses I have for this here. You can maybe clamp a flight controller here, you can, clamp some stuff for soldering. I would say the biggest thing is like how strong are these magnets, and they're really strong. You can kind of hear it through how well that actually slams down. It's tight. Like I could pick up the whole shooting match by one of these. See how tight that is? I can shake it. There, it finally come off. So these are strong magnets, and that is a steel plate. That is a thick, heavy steel plate that it's on. So yeah, the other thing that's nice is that just the magnification on this, so we can kind of see that here. So you can see how magnified that really makes something. You can kind of see that's with the magnification, that's without. Obviously, the closer or the farther you get away from the thing with this, the more magnified it will be. So that's that piece. So you can get a sense of that magnification. Of course, as we talked about before, you can change the light intensity for more of a blue, more of a warm temperature setting, and then this is kind of neutral, then back to the blue, warm, neutral, blue, warm, neutral. You have settings here to adjust the brightness. If it's too bright for you, you can brighten it up or make it less bright. It's pretty straightforward, turn it on and off, of course, with that switch as well. With this one over here, so this device right here, you can see that it actually, whenever you loosen this arm, that's where you can start to move this, and then it actually loosens down there at the base too, so you can slide the base and twist this, and then when you tighten this single knob here, it actually tightens up both. So now this is tight. With the vise here, for how far that goes out, yeah, maybe I'd say 54 on that, just to get a couple threads in on it. So there's also these little stand legs here, which are just little magnetic pieces here, almost like little chess pieces. And you can use these in a number of ways. You can either pinch an electronic kind of in between them there, as you can see, or I see for FPV equipment, you could probably just have them set up in a certain way that you could just bring a flight controller over to it and set it right on there just for quick on and off access. Gets it a little closer to the desk here for resting a hand and soldering, and then bringing in wires with your little, extended clip here thing. Imagine a wire on here that you're going to solder up to here. You can bring that in, have that touch, and then just bring the solder. It gives you your hands free for holding the flight controller, holding the wire, and then hand for solder and hand for solder iron. And yeah, be setting off to the races there for that. So just quick and easy. Again, these pins are, a little bit versatile. You can use them in a couple different ways, but that's also part of the set. To give you a sense of what these can hold, this is a 3S battery here, old battery I just used for goggles, but 3S battery, 18 mAh, and extended all the way out there. It's holding that up. However, for an example on this, now this is a 4S pack, and this is a 1500 mAh battery. You can see here, holding it out, it's kind of that same spot. If I let it go, it will let that drop. So that gives you a little bit of sense of, you know, how stiff these are if you're for weight capacity. They're not coming off of here regardless, for sure, because these are, again, you have to really get that on there, or really pull on that to actually pull that off. But just to give you a sense of how rigid these are, and you know, for holding their shape and holding your electronics on there pretty good. But I guess that will about do it. Pretty simple piece of equipment here. Kind of gives an overview of this. These are pretty stiff, so I think hopefully time will tell, but those should retain their rigidity there. I will make links down in the video description if you're interested in this thing. In the past, I was using something like this. The light doesn't work on it anymore. It would kind of wobble sometimes. And the other thing on this is these springs are way too tight. So I guess that's another piece on this. I was always concerned that this would actually hurt the electronics, and I would do some tape, and still it's pretty darn tight. Where these are much better. They have some protection on there, so I'm not worried about the electronics, and they're not so tight. I wish I could give you some sort of measurement, but they're not so tight that I'm worried about it hurting the flight controller by throwing on a grip. They're just very tight. Again, if you have any questions, drop them down in the comments down below. See the link down there if you're looking for it. Thanks everybody, and I hope this helped.